How did you get into, like, tell me a little bit about all of this.
Yeah. Well, I came from the Lakota culture. I'm Native American, so I've always kind of been in that earth-centric culture my whole life.
What's that mean, earth-centric?
In Lakota culture and in a lot of other, Nakota, Dakota, and all the different tribes that are distributed throughout the country, we hold the earth as very sacred, very healing. And I was always told that as a kid, stay close to the earth. It's healing for your body, for your soul. And I had never really thought about that much as a kid. And then, 20 years later, I go to school, I study physics, I go to undergrad, I go to grad school, and I really start to put things together as far as what's going on when you actually ground. And I had gotten into grounding from track and field, and I was just looking for ways to get better. And I had stumbled upon one podcast that was talking about it, this whole grounding thing. And I was very, very skeptical about it. And I was just like, being barefoot on the earth, that's going to do all these things. And then I started implementing it. I started grounding before I went to bed. I started grounding before I was training, after I was training, in the morning. And I just noticed immediate differences in my energy levels and how I was training, the quality of my training, how well I was recovering. There were so many cool things that were happening. I was like, okay, there's something definitely happening here.
Is it just putting your bare feet on the earth? Is that all grounding is?
Yeah. So what grounding is, very, very simply, is it's just being in electrical contact with the surface of the earth. And that can be done directly or indirectly. So directly, just bare feet on the earth, or indirectly, if you have like a grounding mat, grounding sheets, grounding pillowcases, they have all types of
those work.
Yeah, they do. And it's very important to, test if you're going to be grounding indoors, you need to be testing your outlets. You need to be testing with a multimeter if these products are actually working, because they can be detrimental if you're not doing those things. But yeah, it can be done indoors. It can be done outdoors. There's a lot of different ways you can do it.
Interesting. So what's the philosophy behind it? Like we're electric?
Yeah. So the body is very conductive. And when we talk about health, we get the nutrition side of things down, we get the exercise things of all that down, but we often forget that we're electrical beings. And when you hear like things like homeostasis, you don't really think of the electrical side of things. Our body operates at a very specific voltage, and it needs to maintain this for optimal health. And so when you ground yourself to the earth, that allows your body to be in electrical equilibrium. And that's how it's meant to be, because humans have been, throughout our time here on Earth, we've been in electrical contact with the Earth, and it's only been in the last 100 years that we've started separating ourselves from the Earth through rubber-soled shoes and what have you.
And you've created these grounding sandals. Do they keep you grounded? I mean, there's a thin layer of...
So yeah, being grounded to the earth, it really comes down to, conductors and insulators. In between there, you have semiconductors. But what conductors do is they essentially allow the movement of electrical energy through them more easily than, say, insulators. So an example of a conductor would be copper or silver, which are two of the best conductors in the world. And you have, on the other hand, here, glass and rubber and these different types of polymers that don't allow for the transfer of electrical energy through them. So conductors and insulators, that's a big part of the conversation.
So you're